Good morning, students. Today we are going to see the paper named Atomic Physics. In Atomic Physics, I am going to teach you Unit 3, Unit 4 and Unit 5. And today we are going to take Unit 3, Atomic Structure. I have already sent the notes for third unit, Atomic Structure. So the first and foremost we have to do is take your notes, keep your notes side by side, and now I am going to tell the same matter which is contained in the notes. So you have to turn the notes and see whatever is there, so the matter will be related same. Okay? So let us start. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Introduction. Atom is the smallest chemical element made up of electrons which are of the size of 10 power minus 10 meter. Okay. Now you have to remember what is meant by 10 power minus 10 meter. 10 power minus 10 meter is equal to 1 Armstrong. 10 power minus 9 is equal to nanometer. Okay. So the old theories propose that the atom is in the form of a sphere. So that idea was a failure. Later on, a scientist by name J.J. Thomson, based on the previous models, was going to give a shape to the atom, that is a structure. And he told that the electrons in the atom are revolving in orbits. And he told that the path of the electrons in the orbit is in the form of a sphere. So he told the atom is in the form of a spherical shape. But that was not applicable to the smallest hydrogen atom itself. So J.J. Thomson's theory was a failure. He told that it is not fitting for the fine structure of hydrogen atom, because if you illuminate a hydrogen atom from ground state to excited state, either by emission or absorption, it will give 4 lines: H alpha, H beta, H gamma, H delta. So hydrogen atom is split up with hydrogen spectrum consists of 4 lines. So it is known as fine structure of atom. So this was not accounted for a particular simple hydrogen atom. So J.J. Thomson's method was also a failure. Based on J.J. Thomson, in our syllabus, 3 atom models are going to be discussed. The first and foremost is known as Bohr atom model. The second one is known as Sommerfeld's atom model. The third one is known as vector atom model. Each and every scientist proposed some postulates. Based on that postulates, we are going to see how the next man is going to proceed. Before telling that point, I want to express one thing, is that the best adopted method was the vector atom model. Okay. Before going to this, you must know some basic idea. What is meant by momentum? Momentum is nothing but product of mass into velocity. In momentum, we have got 2 types of momentum. One is a linear momentum, another is an angular momentum. If a particle is traveling in a straight line, then it is linear momentum. If a particle is traveling in a circular path, then it experiences angular momentum. So in this atomic structure, you need everywhere when it is coming angular means you must remember that the atom is moving in a circular path. So the Bohr atom model now we are going to discuss. In Bohr atom model, Bohr gave 2 important postulates. First postulate is that he told atom cannot revolve in all possible orbits, and each and every atom should have an angular momentum. That angular momentum must be integral multiples of h by 2 pi, where h is Planck's constant and its value is 6.64 into 10 power minus 34 joules second. Okay, the value of Planck's constant is 6.64 into 10 power minus 34 joule second. You have to remember. Next he gave his second idea. Postulate means proposals. We can do like that. If we prediction, that means may be like that. That is what the postulate means. Second postulate is that we have to know, before going to second postulate, there will be three energy levels. One is known as the ground state energy level, another one is known as the higher energy level. Ground state, otherwise it is known as excited state. In between the ground state and excited state, there is another level known as metastable state. So don't worry about metastable state. Now you have to know two processes. If an atom is moving from ground state to excited state, it will take energy along with it. So the process taking place is known as absorption. So an atom is moving from ground state to excited state, or lower energy level to higher energy level, absorption of energy will take place. And if the atom is moving from excited level to ground level or higher energy level to lower energy level, emission of energy will take place. So two processes. In these two processes, energy will be absorbed or energy will be emitted, but the formula is same. Energy emitted or absorbed, capital E is equal to h nu. But remember what? Energy emitted or absorbed is E is equal to h nu. H means Planck's constant. Nu means difference in frequency. When the atom is moving between two energy levels, there will be change in frequency. That is what known as difference in frequency. Another one most important thing you have to remember is that each and every particle which is possessing energy will have the same formula. E is equal to h nu. That is what you have to remember. Okay, you are able to understand. Okay. Next point. He has given second postulate. Atom radiates the energy only when an electron jumps from a stationary means fixed. You have to remember. Stationary means fixed. Stationary orbit of higher energy to that of the low energy. So based on these two aspects, Bohr gave a model. Now based on this, we have to tell what is the radius of the nth orbit. Now our Bohr has told that it is traveling in all possible orbits. That means we have to calculate expression for radius of nth orbit. They will ask in 5 marks. So first you see the notes. I have given a circular path from the center to the end of the circle. I have written r, radius of the circular path. At one place a charged particle Ze is present, and I have given an arrow mark. I put E minus, that is the electron is revolving around in the circular path. If two particles of opposite charges are there, a force of attraction will be experienced. That is nothing but the product of the charge. It is force is directly proportional to the product of charges and inversely proportional to the square of the distances. Therefore, let us consider a charged particle Ze of mass capital M. Z is nothing but atomic number. So every time first we have to consider hydrogen atom. For hydrogen atom, Z is equal to 1. Next we are considering electron. Next we have to consider the electron. Electron will always have negative charge. Remember, proton positive charge, electron negative charge, neutron neutral charge. You have to remember, proton positive charge, electron negative charge, proton no charge, as a neutron no charge or neutral. Two things you have to remember. One, mass of the electron is 9.1 into 10 power minus 31 kg. Mass of electron is 9.1 10 power minus 31. Charge of the electron is equal to 1.6 into 10 power minus 19 coulomb. 1.6 into 10 power minus 19 coulomb. Okay, now you remember this. Based on that, we are writing the expression F is equal to Ze into minus E divided by 4, the distances, 4 pi epsilon naught r square, because 1 by 4 pi epsilon is a constant. So that is what I have given the expression, equation number 1. When an atom is traveling in a circular path, Remember, it will experience centripetal force. The expression for centripetal force is F is equal to mv square by r, where m is the mass of the particle, r is the radius of the circular path, and v is the velocity with which the particle is moving. So we have got equation number 1, equation number 2. For equilibrium means samanilai or equal status, equation 2 is equal to equation 1. We have written these two equations. Refer your notes. I have cancelled the equal things because again I have squared the value, then I have cancelled, and finally in the third step you are getting the expression for radius of the nth orbit. R suffix n equal to n square h square epsilon naught by pi z into r. Z is nothing but atomic number. For hydrogen atom it is equal to 1. And epsilon naught is the permittivity of free space. You must remember epsilon naught, epsilon r. Epsilon naught means permittivity of free space, epsilon means permittivity, epsilon r means relative permittivity. Now we have come to the final equation, and the final equation or expression for the nth orbit is given as r equal to n square h square epsilon naught by pi z e square m, where n is the number of the orbit, h is Planck's constant, epsilon naught is permittivity of free space. You know pi is a constant, its value is 22/7, and z for hydrogen atom atomic number is 1, so the value of z is 1. E, charge of the electron. Just a few minutes back I told you the value of charge of the electron is 1.6 into 10 power minus 19. So finally you must write radius of the nth permissible orbit for hydrogen atom r of n equal to n square h square epsilon naught divided by pi square em. And this is called the formula for Bohr radius. This is called the formula for Bohr radius. Do you remember what is that? R of n equal to n square h square epsilon naught by pi e square m. Suppose sometimes they will ask, derive an expression for Bohr radius in 5 marks. Then we have to write that. So next we have to calculate the energy calculation. We have to do the calculation of total energy. You know that work done can be treated as energy. Work done can be treated as energy. Total energy is the sum of potential energy plus kinetic energy. You have to remember, total energy is the sum of potential energy plus kinetic energy. So you must see when a particle is revolving in a path, what is the type of energy is possessing? It is possessing, whether it is possessing kinetic energy or it is possessing what? Potential energy. Definitely when a particle is revolving in a circular path, it will possess only kinetic energy. Only when a particle is falling to a certain height, it will possess potential energy, because the expression for potential energy is mgh, whereas the expression for kinetic energy is half mv square. So we have written potential energy plus kinetic energy. So I have given the formula potential energy. It is integrable within the limits infinity to r z e square 4 pi epsilon naught r square dr. You will have a question, sir, why you are writing dr? Here the radius is changeable because the particle is traveling in a circular path. From the center, the radius when it is particle moving will change. So the variable is r. So based on that, I have derived an expression for total energy. I derived an expression for total energy, and finally we are getting the expression for energy as En equal to m e to the power 4 z square 8 epsilon naught square n square h square. That is what? Total energy possessed by an atom as proposed by Bohr when it's traveling in a circular path is expressed as m e power 4 z square n 8 epsilon naught square n square h square. Here z is equal to 1. So if you square it is nothing but you know E, charge of electron 1.6 into 10 power minus 19. Epsilon naught, permittivity of free space. N square, orbit, first orbit, second orbit, third number, and h Planck's constant. So when you all substitute this, the outer orbits has greater energy than the inner orbit. So it is a failure. Bohr atom model was a failure because it was not able to explain the fine structure of hydrogen atom. I told you in the beginning itself, hydrogen has 4 spectral lines, H alpha, H beta, H gamma, H delta. So Bohr atom was not able to account for the simplest atom, hydrogen, the fine structure of its spectral lines. So Bohr atom is a failure. So Bohr atom is a failure. So in this class we have seen about Bohr atom. There may be 2 types of questions. One, derive the expression for Bohr radius means 5 marks. Account for Bohr model means for 10 marks. Are you able to understand? Okay, thank you.